for Bethany and Brandon Price. We have a 20-year-old daughter who has traits of autism or Asperger's. And there's been a lot of struggle she's had throughout her life, but when you have a functional home with guidelines and systems in place, kids like that can do really well. She went off to college with her scholarship because she's brilliant. And without that system and those guidelines in place every day, there was some breakdown. And that breakdown led to her coming home from the spring semester last year, struggling a little bit. And so we spent some time looking into ways that we could help her. We wanted to help her physically, emotionally, mentally, nutritionally, anything we could to get her back on her feet and feeling good again. And so, we looked at mental health, we looked at chiropractic care and allergy treatments, and a lot of things that could help her.
I started reading on the internet about autism, searching anything that I could do to find any kind of help and cures for my daughter to help her function better. I read about hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatment and saw the effects that could have on autism. I went to PubMed.gov, that's the government website of peer-reviewed research, and I typed in autism and HBOT and started reading summary after summary of things research that had been done where it helped children and adults as well. And then I went to YouTube and typed that same search in, and I started watching videos after videos of doctors and scientists and different people, including patients that had been under the care of HBOTs, and listened to their testimonials of it as well. So I came down and talked to Ryan here at Hyperbaric Oxygen Chamber of Insideout and got his take on the whole thing. And he told me about some of the success he had with autism and putting people underneath his care as well. So I paid for a package of 30 dives. They call them dives in the business. And within a short amount of time, I started seeing a lot of improvement with my daughter. What did you see?
One of the first things we noticed with her after, I think, the first dive was that her appetite normalized, which is kind of important. She's a thin, healthy, fit girl, and she would eat huge plates of food for no reason and over and over and over again. We couldn't figure out where it was going and what happens. But her appetite normalized, and that's the first thing she noticed. And then the second thing that we noticed was...
Well, I noticed her driving better. She used to drive really bad. Nobody or nothing around her was safe. She would park crooked and turn wide and brake hard. And then shortly after just a couple dives, she was driving to Insideout normal. I would hide. I'd be a couple blocks away, and I would kind of watch her to see if our car was going to be safe and if she was going to be safe. And she was parking within lines and driving normal and driving straight. And then she started making her own appointments for follow-up visits, which was way outside of her norm and comfort zone. She would never do something like that before the HBOTs and the dives that she had experienced.
Yeah, for her to get on the phone, make an appointment, and then drive herself to and from that appointment was pretty much miraculous, especially coming from where she had just been a few months ago, where she was almost non-functioning as a driver. Then we took her back up to college, and she's been back at this semester for about 3 weeks. We went up this last weekend to visit her, and I picked her up on Friday night, and she got in the car, and we were in the car about 30 minutes, and she was talking and cheerful and talking about friends and acquaintances and classmates and study groups, and she knew their names, and she knew what classes she had with people. And for our daughter, that's another miracle. She has suffered with face blindness, along with all the sensory processing and social cues, misreadings, and things like that come with having some autistic traits. But the face blindness made it so she couldn't make connections. She couldn't remember people's names. She'd see them day after day, and it would take her a long time and lots of repetition before she could remember somebody. So there weren't human connections, personal relationships. And to be in school for 3 weeks and to have names and faces and groups that she was connecting with, I noticed it immediately and mentioned it to her and asked her if that had changed for her. And she thought for about 5 minutes really quietly, and she said yes. She said, I know who they are, and I'm able to remember them. And I can recognize them. And that's a big deal. I don't know if you can imagine if you went through your life and you couldn't ever recognize anybody. There's no way of having any personal relationships unless that person is pretty persistent to you. And so we feel like the mental clarity, the ability to function, to that executive function, being able to do her own tasks, and the help with the face blindness, and the help with her proprioception, her sense of where she is in the world physically, and that helps with the driving. There's things like that that we feel that these dives have helped, and now that helps her to be able to go off to college and keep up with her nutritional plan and keep up with the other things, her exercise plan, the other things that are helping her mentally, physically, and emotionally. It helps her put all that into function, and we're thrilled.
Yeah, so we'd like to thank Insideout for everything they've done for our daughter. We've paid for many different things, lots of different treatments, and went to Tony Robbins' event, Unleash the Power Within, in Florida with my daughter to see if there was things there that would help her and improve her with her mental state. And I found this to be the best return on our investment.